All right. Well, yeah, welcome back, everyone. Thank you for all our new and returning members. It's always happy to see your guys' faces and, take advantage of these amazing opportunities. We're going to start with events. So I'll give it off to Heidi.
We are so excited today to present Lindsay Mingee, a power broker from Lee and Associates. And so looking forward, next week, we have a presentation from the eBoard on ESG and real estate. So stay tuned for more info on that in the upcoming newsletter. On March 1st and March 3rd, the week after, we have two events, one with collaboration with SMIC and one with OMS. And on March 10th, we have another guest speaker who is a former REA president who currently works as an analyst at MetLife. So yeah, there's a lot of great meetings to look forward to this coming semester. And if you haven't already, follow us on our social media. You can take a picture, or Martin has linked the link tree in the chat. And that is where you can find our social media platforms, our Instagram, where we post every week, and our MyBar. Make sure you add us on MyBar so we can send you our newsletters and weekly updates. And if you haven't already, do follow us on our Slack, where we post more frequent updates, and that is where you can contact us more directly.
So for our club merchandise, if you're a paid member, you will get a t-shirt, a mask, and a graduation stool. You can Venmo to Laya, and for a semester, it's $20, and for a full year, it is $30.
To add on to that, for those who have signed up, who have paid for a membership last semester as well, we are finalizing the shirts. We're actually going to get them this weekend, and we hope to send you guys all little welcome back goodies, like a little care package for the semester with all of the merchandise except the stoles for now, in the next week or so. So stay tuned for that. And this is old members who played for last semester and new members who are paying again this semester or for the full year. And so our first partnership posting is the Crew Inland Empire Scholarship. So for many of you who don't know, Crew Inland Empire is commercial real estate women. They are about advancing women in the commercial real estate industry. Actually, our guest speaker, Lindsay Mingee, is the president this year. So very exciting. This one is specifically the Inland Empire chapter, and we are grateful that they are actually awarding 30 female students with a $5,000 scholarship. Scholarship winners are not only given funds for their education, they're also given the opportunity to network with the most dynamic and successful industry professionals in the local commercial real estate industry. Last semester, Caitlin unfortunately couldn't make it today. We both won the Crew Inland Empire Scholarship, and meeting these women and meeting so many professionals in that banquet was so amazing. And so for us, it was a life-changing experience, and we're so happy to be a part of, the chapter. On top of that, you get a 22-year student membership for free. You get a summer internship and a 6-month mentorship with a commercial real estate industry professional. So amazing opportunity. I think Martin dropped the link to apply, and it's due by April 15th. So you guys have a lot of time. Next, we have another partnership posting with ULI. So their counterpart, WLI, Women's Leadership Initiative, is hosting a networking event this next week, I believe. Yeah, next Wednesday. And so, I say this every single week, but it's an amazing opportunity because you just meet so many industry professionals in this internship. Our past VP, Allegra, actually met Kathy Reed from this. She's actually in a panel discussion this time. So it's going to be on Zoom, and all you have to do is apply or just RSVP and send in your resume. Once again, can't reiterate how much of an amazing opportunity this is. You get to have an informational interview afterwards with one of the industry professionals, And you also get to meet these people in a panel. So it's a great opportunity to just learn more about the industry. And lastly, we have a job posting from Commonwealth Land Title Insurance, which is a member of Fidelity National Finance Incorporated. They represent the nation's largest group of title companies and title insurance underwriters. And they've mentioned that they collectively issue more title insurance policies than any other title company in the US. Right now, they're looking for a commercial sales exec. So, it's a recent or soon to be graduate who is interested in pursuing a career in title insurance and this is located in Ontario, California, not Canada. But if you are interested, please email resumes to Crystal Levas. I think Martin already dropped the link and the email to send it to. She hasn't mentioned a date, but with all job postings, please apply as soon as possible so you get that opportunity. But yeah. She's an amazing person. You'll learn a lot from her, and this is a great opportunity. And now I'll pass it on to Lindsay Mingee, who is a power broker at Lee & Associates and also the president of Crew Inland Empire.
Well, hey there, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. It's super exciting to see so many of you with an interest in careers in commercial real estate. When I was in my own college journey, I didn't even know that there was such a thing. And I got into commercial real estate a little bit later at, post-college. I had a child already and kind of by coincidence got into commercial real estate. And it's been life-changing for me. So it's really exciting for me when I see 48 or 49 of you here, or 55 now, with an interest in a career like this, because it really is a career like no other. And certainly there are lots of different careers within the commercial real estate industry. I am here today to share with you about a career as a commercial real estate broker. So I'll talk to you a little bit about what that means, what it entails, and kind of what your day in the life of looks like. And then hopefully at the end, I'll share some resources for you if you're interested in pursuing a career in commercial real estate brokerage. I'll kind of give you the first steps so you can at least have an understanding of where to start. But before I do that, I'm actually really excited that you shared about this Crew scholarship. And so if it's cool, I was going to share my screen with you, but no worries. Let's see.
Oh, wait, let me, that's weird. Why won't it okay, I let it to everyone can share.
Okay, cool. Well, I also just posted it in the chat box, and I know you had it on his previous slide, but here's the link for the college scholarships. So there's two opportunities. This first one that the information was shared earlier, here's the link in the chat. If you click that link, it'll take you to a web page that looks like this. Crew Network Foundation College Scholarships. It tells you right here what you receive. And then you can click this link to view your eligibility and apply. And so Crew Network is a global network of commercial real estate women, but what we're really embracing is, so first of all, we're open to both people who identify as males and females. But because specifically those who identify as females have always been in the minority as in the commercial real estate industry, it's been heavily a male-dominated industry. Crew was founded a handful of years ago to help promote the advancement of those who identify as females in the industry. And through that same work, we realized, well, there's also an entire demographic of other people who are working in the commercial real estate industry who feel underrepresented based on some other things, how they identify. And so what Crew is doing, first of all, Crew is open to anybody and everybody, regardless of gender. but our goal is to really advance those working in commercial real estate who feel like they are underrepresented. And so obviously the first step to any advancement is education, right? Education is the base. And so they have 30 scholarships that they can award in the amount of $5,000. And correct, so that deadline closes on April 15th. And so that's the link I shared in the chat box. After that scholarship, my local chapter of the Crew Network, so Crew Network is global. I'm president of the Inland Empire chapter. We will have a separate scholarship opportunity for you. And so the network scholarship is open to applicants across the country. Our Inland Empire scholarship is open just to applicants like you who are attending universities in the Inland Empire. And so please apply for this one that's posted. And if you don't get it, please apply again for our scholarship opportunity that will offer a little bit later in the year. So please keep an eye out for both. But that being said, let's dive into it. I have my notes in front of me and I'll kind of type them out just to emphasize some things. And then what I'll do is I'll share at the end of this, I'll share my note document with the club and they can email it out to all of you. Just because I don't know, it's a little bit easier than trying to do a PowerPoint and share that with you and talk to you and see all your faces. While I'm talking, please, please, please feel free to stop and interrupt me with a question or clarification or thoughts or ideas. Please interrupt me at any time. Please also post thoughts or questions in the chat box, because if that way at the end, I can get back to it and try and give you an answer, right? So if you're thinking of something, don't want to say it out loud, put it in the chat box, and that way I can go back at the end and make sure all the questions are addressed. All right, so commercial real estate brokerage. And I'll share my note screens with you. Hopefully everyone can see that okay. All right. So a career in commercial real estate brokerage. What does that even mean? What does that even look like? First of all, you're going to have two types of clients. You are going to have, your clients are either someone who needs a commercial real estate property for their business to be profitable, right? So they need a commercial real estate property for their business. And so unless your business allows you to work solely from home, right, with just the technology that you have in your home, right, you likely have a business that needs some sort of commercial property for your business to be profitable, because you're manufacturing something or you're providing services where people need to come to you in person, or you need to have essentially a home for all of your service providers to work together, collaborate together, provide those services. So you either need real estate for your business to be profitable, or you acquire, you buy and sell commercial real estate for a profit. And that is your business. Your business is buying and selling commercial real estate for a profit. And those are more, okay, so the types of people who have commercial real estate for their business, those are either tenants because they are leasing the property for their business, or they're what we call an owner occupant. They own the property and they also occupy it for their business. Now, someone whose business is buying and selling commercial real estate for a profit, we call those investors, right? But they're also like landlords, right? So typically landlords are someone who owns commercial real estate for making a profit. So those are kind of the two types of clients that you would have. Just get my notes back open. They keep closing on me. And what do you do for these types of clients as a broker? Well, you do a couple of things. You source the opportunities for them. You analyze the deal, meaning you look at the property, the price of that property, whether it's the price to purchase it or it's the price to occupy it, right? So whether it's the cost to lease it or the cost to buy it, you analyze the deal and you're looking for a couple of things. You're looking for, if I'm your broker, I'm your advocate, right? I'm making sure that you are getting the opportunity that meets your business need. You're my client. My service to you is that you find a property that meets your business need. And so I source the opportunity for you. I tell you what's for sale, what's for lease. And then I analyze it for you. And I say, hey, here's why this makes sense for your business. Based on what you need, here's why this makes sense. Or here's why this doesn't make sense. And then so you source the deal, you analyze the deal, and then you negotiate the transaction, right? Because in every transaction, there's at least two parties, right? Someone who owns the property, right? And someone who needs the property. And so you as the broker, you are the facilitator of that transaction. And what you're trying to do is accomplish what both parties want, right? And just like in life, it's rare that two people want the same thing, right? But perhaps they both want something and there's a way that they can both have what they want or what they really want working together. You as the broker, you're the facilitator of that. And then the last thing that I think is really important to understand what makes a really good commercial real estate broker is not only do you negotiate the transaction, but once those terms are negotiated, you facilitate the transition. So somebody owns it, they're either selling it to someone else or they're leasing it to someone else. You've sourced that opportunity for your client. You've analyzed the deal so that it makes the best sense for their business. You've negotiated the terms, and now you're going to facilitate so they've agreed to terms. Now you're going to facilitate that transition, whether it's changing ownership of the property or it's facilitating someone coming in and taking leasehold to that property, leasing the property. Leasehold is a form of legal ownership. Now, it's limited, right? I only have legal ownership of that for the length of the lease, right? And my ownership is still limited. I can't take it with me. I can't destroy it without repercussion, right? But a leasehold is still a form of legal ownership. So you're facilitating that. And that is your role as a broker. I'm going to share my screen again, just real quick while I kind of type this out, just as a way to kind of reemphasize this. So let's get this going here. So you're sourcing opportunities, you're analyzing the deal, you're negotiating the transaction, and you are then facilitating the transition. Oh, there go my doggies. They're getting very excited. And the key to all of this is that you're acting as an advisor. This word advisor is super important because this is what your clients want and need. This is what they are willing to pay you for. The difference, and I wish someone had told me this earlier in my career, but anyone can see a sign on the road or on a building that says for sale or for lease. And typically there's a phone number there, right? Anyone can do that. You as a broker, what you want to be is an advisor, which means you are putting the needs of your client first. You are being a tenacious advocate for them to help them get what they want and need, because that's what establishes the trust relationship. And they will use you as their real estate advisor over and over again. And when they do that, that creates transactions, which generates a commission, which is how you put money in your pocket through a commission. So if you're interested in this type of career, I encourage you from the very beginning, think of it as an advisory role and less of a, hey, yeah, I see a phone number on a sign, I call it for you and find out, I find out what's up, right? Residential realtors have access to something I'm sure you're all familiar with, the MLS, right? So I subscribe to the MLS, I log on, and I can see everything that's for sale in a certain area, in a certain neighborhood, and I can see what things have sold for. Commercial real estate does not have an MLS. There are some other tools that are similar. They're a lot more expensive, but that's where, again, becoming an advisor really establishes you as like the go-to person, where people will come to you and pay you for two things. There's two ways to make money that you as a commercial broker make money in this business. It's your time and it's your market knowledge. People will pay you to spend the time doing all of the things we just discussed: sourcing the opportunity, analyzing the deal, negotiating the transaction, facilitating the transition, their time. But they will also pay you for your market knowledge. Because as a broker, I know something that you as a business owner or as a real estate investor don't. Now, you may have a general understanding, or you may have a general basis of knowledge. Hey, I heard that so-and-so has space for lease in their building. The more market knowledge I have, the more value I bring to my client. And the more value I bring to my client, the more they are willing to pay me, correct? And if you look at other industries do the same thing, right? I can go to my general doctor, but if I have a specific question about a specific part of my body or a specific symptom or something that I'm experiencing or a specific affliction, I pay more money to go to a specialist who has that specialized knowledge, right? Same thing with attorneys, right? If I need a divorce attorney, I pay more to a divorce attorney, right? If I need a tax attorney, I pay more to a tax attorney. So as a real estate broker, and someone posted in the chat, which is perfect, you're a consultant. Yes, you're a consultant, but you're also an advisor, right? So you're giving them advice that no one else, none of your competitors are able to give them. So yes, and then there's also a question that in the chat box: commercial real estate mortgage officer, an agent, a broker acts like the agent. Okay, so good question. Someone who's brokering mortgages is different than someone who's brokering a commercial real estate transaction, a commercial real estate purchase, sale, or lease. That's different than someone who is brokering the way that person is going to finance that. So they finance it through a mortgage. As a mortgage broker, you are representing someone's financial need and connecting them to a lending institution who is willing to meet that financial need. So you're acting as the go-between between someone who needs to borrow money and lending institutions who have the money to lend. A commercial real estate broker, you are acting as the go-between between someone who needs a commercial property for their business to be profitable and someone else who owns that commercial real estate property. You're acting as their go-between. Does that help clarify things a little bit?
Yeah, it does,
Okay.
Lindsay.
Awesome.
Actually, I had a quick question because I was looking into just being an MLO. So, as just a mortgage loan officer, you basically show your client what loans they can get, and then you just refer them to the lender, and then you get your commission once the loan closes. Is that it?
So yes, in theory. But just like being a commercial property broker, if you're a mortgage officer, the best so I see mortgage officers come and go all the time because they're transacting exactly how you are suggesting. Hey, so they wait for someone to call them. Hey, I want to buy this, I want to buy this house, or I want to buy this property. I need the money. Can you help me? And you say, yeah, I know a couple of bankers. Here's their, we'll get them to talk to you. But as a mortgage broker, when you can put that same advisory hat on and become a consultant to somebody to say, hey, okay, tell me exactly what it is that you're trying to achieve with this financial purchase. And you're being a matchmaker, right? Let me match you with the lending institution that's going to accomplish that for you. That is where you become an advisor, a consultant that people will go to time and time and again, versus just a commodity, versus just another guy or girl in the industry, who can find you a mortgage. This whole idea of being an advisor versus a broker, just a transactor, is what will give you longevity in this career. And the longer you're in this career, the more income you will make. Does that answer your question a little bit?
Yeah, I think it does, Lindsay, because I was just really obviously being in the real estate industry as an MLO or a real estate agent, there's not much of a barrier to get in. You just pass the license and you go. So that's kind of what I was thinking. It's like, how do you set yourself apart from all the other agents and officers, And I think you've found it, right? So I just want to keep hearing what you have to say in this Zoom. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And I love something that you said, because it's super key. One of the beautiful things about a career in brokerage or, loan brokerage, as you said, is the barrier to entry is low. Because if you remember, what does it require of you? It requires your time and it requires your knowledge. And if you can figure out a way to put in the time to acquire the knowledge, the more knowledge you gain, the more value you can add to your clients, which means the more you transact, and every time you transact, you get a commission. So unlike owning a franchise where I have to come up, with $1 million, right, to start my own business, brokerage allows you to be your own business with only the investment of your time to gain the knowledge, the market knowledge. Lawrence, what's your question?
Hi, Mingee. First of all, thank you so much for the time. And actually, I saw your LinkedIn this morning, so that was great. And then I saw that we have like a mutual connections with I don't know if you know Mir Ali from Marcus Miller Chap.
Oh, okay, yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I spoke to him recently, and that was quite interesting. So me as a person, I'm very interested in commercial real estate, and I will be intern for Matthews in the summer.
Okay.
So what I see is we have what I see in the past months, and in this real estate associations, I see a lot of commercial individuals coming in. They spoke about their professionals career. But I really want. Is it okay if you can go deeper into the commercial real estate and let all these students know how diversify and how much opportunities commercial real estate really give?
Yeah, great question and great segue into the next thing that I was going to share with you. So I'll share my screen kind of as I type this just to help bring it home. So again, we've talked about the importance of becoming an advisor. We talked about the way you make money as a broker is the time you invest in it and the market knowledge that you have, the specific knowledge that you have that's of value to someone who doesn't have that knowledge themselves, but has a need to transact, right? And so how do you get the most market knowledge in the shortest amount of time possible, right? Because I want to, if that's how I make money based on my knowledge, how do I get the most amount of market specific knowledge in the least amount of time so I can start making money sooner? And the key to that is becoming a specialist. And so I love that you mentioned that you talked to Marcus, because as you're out there exploring careers in commercial real estate, what you'll start to discover is that different firms have different specialty focuses. Different brokers have different specialty focuses. And so I encourage you to explore the different areas, but as you're exploring, keep in mind, okay, what am I going to be a specialist at? And you can specialize in a few areas. So you can be a specialist based on geography, right? So my geography, where I have the most market knowledge, is the Inland Empire. I've focused my time on building my knowledge about everything in commercial real estate in the Inland Empire. And that is where I can add the most value. Now, if a client calls me and says, hey, I want to buy an apartment building in Austin, Texas, because I have not invested the time to build my market knowledge of Austin, Texas, I don't have a lot of value to provide. And if I'm not providing value, people aren't going to want to pay me, right? Because I'm not giving them anything of value. But if someone has a need in the Inland Empire, I am the go-to. I can become a specialist based on geography. You can also become a specialist based on asset type. So what are the different commercial real estate assets? You have industrial, retail, office, multifamily. And there are some others that trickle in there as well, medical and things like that. But you can become a specialist based on your asset type. So again, I specialize in commercial real estate office transactions, which are very different than industrial transactions. So if someone comes to me and they say, hey, I need an industrial building in the city of Ontario, can I help them? Absolutely. Am I going to provide them as much value as someone else who has specialized in industrial buildings in the city of Ontario? No. So sure, I can dabble, I can try, but I make the bulk of my money being a specialist in commercial real estate office transactions in the Inland Empire. And so I encourage you, as you're exploring careers in this, keep thinking, what asset types am I drawn to? Gosh, I really enjoy retail. I just like the vibrancy of retail. Or multifamily is key, right? It's the hot asset right now, right? It's also uber competitive. But if that's your thing, and maybe your family owns multifamily or wants to own multifamily, or you want to own multifamily, and so that's where you want to specialize, focus on it, learn it, because the more knowledge you have about that asset type, the more value you can add to your clients and the more money you can make because of that value. So asset type is another way to specialize. You can also specialize based on transaction type. And this is where a firm like Marcus really has a foothold in the market here in the Inland Empire, but also in the global market. Marcus and Millichap, all they do is buy and sell commercial real estate. So if I'm a CEO of a Fortune 500 company and I need space for lease for my Inland Empire headquarters, Marcus is not my go-to. And that's okay, because Marcus specializes in buying and selling commercial real estate That's all they do. And because it's all they do, they're one of the best at it, right? And if they're the best at it, that's a lot of value. And the more value you have to offer, the more money you can make. Okay. And yeah, so geography, asset type, transaction type, and the one other area, again, it kind of goes along with transaction type, but it's client type, right? So a firm like Cushman and Wakefield, one of their strengths globally is they are a tenant advocate. They are really, really good at representing tenants who need to lease property. So for whatever reason, this client buying, buying a commercial real estate property is not necessarily what they need. That's the best fit for their business to be profitable. They want a lease, which means they're going to be a tenant. And Cushman and Wakefield has established a brand nationally, globally, that they represent tenants better than any other of the competing firm. So based on client type, you can perhaps find your specialty. And so I encourage you to do that. Okay, so we've talked about geography, asset types, transaction types, client types. Yeah, you're welcome.
Sorry to interrupt, Lindsay.
Please interrupt, please.
Okay. I'm actually sorry to just interrupt like just the flow of the presentation, but I think this would kind of reflect what a lot of other people in this meeting are kind of in the same situation where we haven't gotten into the real estate industry but we're very interested in it. And like this information that you're sharing, it's one section of it, but it's something I'm really interested in. Do you have any advice on where to start really with just the real estate industry? And especially when you're like an expert at this specific niche and like we all are talking to you right now, this would kind of be like a way to at least get more knowledge or potentially gain more insight and get in contact with you. Do you have any advice on like how to get started and stuff?
I do. And someone posted this in the chat box too. They asked, can a commercial real estate broker also do residential real estate? And what that leads me to share with you is if you want to get into commercial real estate brokerage, you have to have a California real estate license. So it's the same exact license and the same exact test and the same exact requirement that is required if you want to get into residential or commercial, same license. You go to California DRE website, California, I'll type it in the chat box, DRE, Department of Real Estate, go to their website, and it will outline for you what is required to take your real estate exam to get your real estate license. It's really, especially because you all are engaged in higher education, and so you're disciplined enough to pursue that, getting your real estate license will be no problem for any of you, okay? You have to take a series of classes. It's like 4 core classes plus an elective. They are online. Okay, so yeah, so it looks like, yeah, Citrus College has real estate classes. You can also take them online. I used a company called First Tuesday. So if you go to firsttuesday.com, you purchase the classes. You can take them online, 100% online. They allow you to finish them in 2-week increments. They do that because they don't want you rushing through all 4 classes in a weekend, which I'm sure some of you here on this call are probably capable of doing. So they make you space them out 2 weeks apart. So essentially, this summer, if you're like, hey, I want to get my real estate license this summer, you could literally finish your courses in a summer online. There's a cost to it. I think the cost is, I mean, it's been a handful of years because I've had my license for a long time now. But I think the cost is like around, $350 to $400 for First Tuesday to give you the classes online. Something that's really important to know is there is about 2% of the information in these classes involve commercial real estate. It is all related to residential real estate. And so something very important to know is, yes, the license is required. And once you get that license, you will know zero about commercial real estate. And it's okay. It's okay, because that's where all of us started. Okay, so someone's asking, what college year would be the most ideal to obtain your real estate license? Zachary is asking this question. Zachary, I would obtain it when it fits in your schedule. Your higher education that you're getting right now is teaching you how to be a critical thinker and teaching you how to build relationships with other humans in the world. And being a critical thinker and being able to have quality relationships with other people in the world is what will make you successful. The real estate license is something that the state requires that you have to represent someone else in a real estate transaction. So get it, knock it out when it works for your schedule. Focus today on learning how to think critically and learning how to relate and communicate to other people really well. Jonas, I will get to the CCIM. I will answer CCIM question because it's a great question. Let me just finish the intro to commercial real estate. So you'll get your real estate license. You take the courses. You can take them online. You can take them 2 weeks apart. Yes, someone put Allied Real Estate School. Yes, it has all the courses, very similar to First Tuesday. Once you complete all the courses, you will need to go back to the California Department of Real Estate website and submit an application to take the real estate exam. The application obviously has your personal information. You're going to pay a fee because the state loves to take your money. Okay, you're going to pay a fee to take the test. You're going to have to scan and email to them the certificate of completion that you've completed the required real estate courses. Moses, I will answer your question. You make a good point, but I'll answer it. But so you'll file the application to take your exam, and then they will give you a test date. The test date is like 6 to 8 weeks out from when you fill out the application. If you go with an online program like First Tuesday or Allied Commercial Real Estate, they will include in your program a test prep course where you will get to have a bunch of practice questions, a bunch of practice tests, work through those, spend the time to prepare for the exam. You'll have 6 to 8 weeks to get ready for it because that's how long it takes to get a test date. Your test will be in 2 locations. It'll either be in San Diego or LA. And so use the time to prepare. All of the courses come with little flashcards. Take the practice tests. When you go to take the exam, they give you 4 hours to take it. It's a multiple choice exam. If you are doing the test prep correctly, you will have seen all of the questions. It's kind of like if you remember getting your driver's license, right? Like if you took all the practice tests and then you went to get your driver's permit, the questions were exactly the same. Same thing with your real estate license. They give you 4 hours to take the test. You have to get 70%. It's a pass or fail. If you get 70% of the questions correct, they say, congratulations, you passed. If you don't, they don't tell you what your score is. They just say, sorry, you need to retake the exam. Once you pass the exam, you will then need to get fingerprinted, which is a fee. And you will need to pay another fee to the Department of Real Estate. So your total investment to get your real estate license, including all the fees, is going to be about $1,000, to maybe $1,200, because you're paying for the courses, you're paying the test fee, you're paying, once you pass the test and they want to give you a license, you have to pay your license fee, and you're paying for the fingerprint. So you're in it for about, you know, $1,000, maybe $1,100. And Moses, to your question, you do not have to have a real estate license to participate in a real estate transaction that is your own transaction. So if you are purchasing a property from someone else, okay, so it's kind of like when you go to court, can you represent yourself? Yes. Okay. But the attorney representing you has to have a license to represent you. So in real estate, if you are going to be representing someone else in a real estate transaction, acting as their agent, you have to have a license to do that. Does that answer your question, Moses?
Yes, it does. Thank you for hitting on that point.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
Hi, Lindsay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Again, I feel pretty bad for interrupting. I actually have to go to class right now, but I'm really interested in just what you do in commercial real estate as a broker. Would it be possible that I could connect with you on LinkedIn and like further contact you or ask you about more questions, possibly set up a time to talk?
Please do. Please do. And in the few minutes I have left with the rest of you, I will share, I will tell you what I do all day. But before I dive into that, I want to make sure I reemphasize the point that you will need to get a commercial real estate license, and the process of doing so will teach you about 2% about commercial real estate. So the way that all of us start out is something called a runnership. It's an internship. It's paid, but very, very little. It's called a runnership. And so I encourage you to reach out to the commercial real estate firms. You know, just Google commercial real estate firms. They'll all start to pop up. Marcus and Millichap is one. Lee and Associates is one. CBRE, Cushman and Wakefield, NAI Capital. Those all have offices here in Colliers. Those all have offices here in the Inland Empire. There are some other big global firms who are equally great. JLL. They just don't happen to have an office here in the Inland Empire. Inquire, if you go to their website, under their career tab, look for something called a runnership, which is an internship. It's a year long. And what they do is they pair you with a commercial real estate broker, and you essentially shadow them for a year. And just like an internship, they're going to make you do things that you're like, oh my gosh, I have a college degree. Why am I spending my time working on this Excel database for them? Stick it out with open ears, because commercial real estate is another language. And some of you who speak multiple languages, you know that the best way to learn a language is to be immersed in it and listen to it. And that's what you're doing in your runnership, is you are immersing yourself in commercial real estate with open ears. And if you've ever studied abroad, right, or traveled abroad, by the time that your trip is over, just from the time you spent immersed in that culture, and immersed in that place, immersed in that other language, you walk away with a better understanding, right? It's the same with a runnership. Immerse yourself in commercial real estate, learn the language, touch and feel some of these different specialty areas. Oh, what is it like to work on a retail project? What is it like to work in an industrial project? What is it like to work in development? Get a feel for what you are attracted to. And then in subsequent years, that's when you really start to hone in and hunker down and decide, this is going to be my market. This is going to be my specialty. This is going to be the value that I give to my clients. All of the different firms have different types of runnership structures. They all pay nothing, just so you know. You will not, and here's what I want to encourage you to. Someone told me this, and it was one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten in commercial real estate. The only people who do not make money in commercial real estate brokerage are the people who quit commercial real estate brokerage. It is a marathon. And so you have to put in the time. And what happens, because I see it over and over, is you graduate, right? You're ready to like start your life, make your money, do your thing, you know, find your people, find your places. All of that takes money. And your friends start getting entry-level positions in different industries and careers, and they're making $60,000 a year, $80,000 a year, you know, $100,000 a year. And here's you in commercial real estate brokerage making $15,000 a year on your runnership. And it's like, wait a minute, I want what they have. I'm capable of doing what they do. I'm capable of making the money that they're making. We have the same education. We're equally skilled and qualified. Don't give up. Don't give up. Because commercial real estate, if you can hang in there long enough to get the base market knowledge that you need to add value to your potential clients, you will far out earn your peers for the rest of your life. I promise you, I promise you. Because they're getting in an entry-level position, and great for them, right? But at some point, they will hit a ceiling. In commercial real estate brokerage, the only ceiling that exists is the ceiling that you put on yourself. If you say, hey, I only want to work 20 hours a week because I've got this other business, or I'm raising my family, or I want to travel the world and I want to work remote. All good. You can still do brokerage and do that, right? But that's it. But your ability to transact and earn commission will be limited, but it's a limit that you've decided that you want, right? Austin, I have colleagues who gross $10 million a year.
Wait, that's so impressive. What? I was putting that as a joke, but
yes, I have colleagues who gross that.
Lindsay?
Yeah.
Can I just like 10 second? Okay, I'm so sorry, but 10 second.
Yeah.
I talked to literally like commercial real estate professional, like I say every single week. So this is why I would tell you guys one thing who are not interested in, you know, commercial real estate, or kind of like in the beginning of it, put literally just like 2 or 3 years, you work your butt off. And they said that, they literally tell me, Lawrence, you know, you put in there like 2-3 years, you work your butt off, and one transactions, you literally you gotta call it 100 clients, and only one transaction, it can last you for like 2-3 years of your salaries in one transactions.
Yeah, and so as a commercial real estate broker, you're paid on commission, and so I'll put this in the chat box so you can do the kind of quick math on your own. So let's say a market standard commission is 3%. 3% of the total transaction value. In the Inland Empire, that is kind of the market standard commission. 3% of the total, I put transition, I meant to say transaction. So if I sell an office building for $1 million, what's my commission? 3% of that, right? So if I sell 4 office buildings a year for $1 million each, and I get 3% commission for each one, what am I making?
120K. 120K.
Let's look at leases. So let's say I represent a client. They sign a 5-year lease, right? So 5 times 12 is 60. So it's 60 months. And their rent is $10,000 a month, right? And so that's $600,000 total. I'm putting this in the chat box. So 60 months at $10,000 a month that they're going to pay in rent. So that's $600,000 total. What's my commission on that?
Sorry, could you say that again? I didn't.
Yeah. So if I'm representing a lease transaction, it's a 5-year lease, right? So 60 months is 5 years. And the rent is $10,000 a month. So the total transaction value is 60 times 10,000, right?
18,000?
60 times 10,000, which is 600,000.
60,000. Wait, 600,000. Sorry.
So you're good, 600,000. What is my commission?
3%. So that's 18, right? 18,000.
So if I do one lease transaction a month, so I do 12 leases a year, right? And my commission is $18,000 per lease, right? How much am I making a year? This is how we're compensated.
216,000.
1 or 2?
216,000.
200.
A lot of money.
So now we talked about doing 12 lease transactions a year. Plus I'm selling 4 office buildings a year, right? We already did the math on that. How much am I making? Right? If I'm making 200,000 a year from my lease transactions, that's just doing 1 lease a month, right? And then I'm selling 4 buildings a year. So I'm selling 1 building a quarter every 3 months, right? What am I making in a year?
Probably like close to $1 million, right?
Right. All of you are capable of this. I guarantee it. You have to put in the time to get the market knowledge to be able to do these types of transactions, right? And really you're getting the market knowledge so that someone trusts you enough to transact on their behalf, right? So if you're willing to put the time in to gain that market knowledge, all of you are capable of this. I just want to encourage you because it does, I'm not gonna lie, it does suck your first year when you're like a runner and you know you're capable of more and you know, and your friends have taken their entry-level jobs and they're like, you know, and they're starting to buy their cars or get their own places. And you're like, gosh, I'm still living at home because I'm only getting paid $15,000 a year on this runnership.
Actually, Lindsay, this is actually something that I really wanted to touch on.
Please.
And I was really interested. And this honestly just captivates me. What you're talking about is just spending a couple years being underpaid for that long-term, like massive growth. And that's kind of something I've always been saying in my life is I don't care if I have to swim through mud or I make nothing for a couple years, but as long as I get to that point where it puts me in the sense where I make a lot of money in the future, obviously money's not everything in life, but it's obviously like the salary is, I'm willing to get paid nothing for a couple years and go through the hardest of the hard to be put in that position and knowledge that I have to be like competitive and be able to be other people. So this really,
and thank you so much, Lindsay, for going into so much detail in this time. Unfortunately, it is 1 p.m. and a lot of students do have class. So we will end the meeting here. If you have further questions, you can stay back a little bit or actually email us or contact us through Slack. So we will conclude the meeting here.
I'm sorry, I have a question for Lindsay.
Okay.
Thank you. I just didn't hear if we need a special license for commercial or not. I'm sorry.
No worries. The answer is you do not. It's the same license. You have to have a license to practice real estate in the state of California. And you have to have it in any other states you intend on transacting. So I used the example earlier where someone comes to me, you know, my friend comes to me and says, hey, I want to buy an apartment building in Austin, Texas. I cannot represent them in the state of Texas. I have to have a Texas real estate license to do that.
And you have to do a test for each state, or you just have to pay the fees?
Each state is different. There are some states that have what's called a reciprocal license. So if I already have a license in the state of California, if there's a state that has a reciprocal license, I go and I just pay the fee and they'll give me a license in that state. Texas is not one of those states. Texas says you want to transact real estate in Texas, you have to go through our program, take our tests, pay our fees. And it's different than California.
Oh, okay. And
the license is preparing you, it's helping you understand what are the laws that you have to abide by. And the states have different laws, right? California real estate law is different than Texas real estate law. And so that's kind of the reasoning behind the license.
okay, so what is different? It's the training? Is that what you're saying?
The process of getting a license. To act as somebody's agent, meaning you're representing their interests, you have to have a license to do that, right?
Yeah. No, what I meant is after you get licensed,
yes,
let's say in the state of California, after you get licensed, what it's different from a commercial real estate agent than a regular, than a residential will be the training that they have to go through. Is that right?
Yes. Okay. I understand your question now. Thank you for clarifying. And it's a great question. Remember, as a commercial broker, you add value based on your knowledge of commercial property and the commercial market, which is different than a residential property and a residential market. And so yes, it's training, but it's, the training is this basis of knowledge, right?
Yes.
But an industrial building costs, the costs are very different than a house. A lease of an industrial building is very different than renting a house or renting an apartment. And so yes, it's the training, but the knowledge that you're building in that specific type, that asset type, that geography, that specialty. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Is it conflict of interest to do both commercial and residential?
Great question. It's not a conflict of interest, but just like the reason I'm encouraging you to become a specialist is because when you focus on knowing one thing really well, you can get the knowledge faster than if you're trying to learn a lot of different things, right?
Yes.
So again, think of how other industries do it. The medical field, there's people who specialize in cancer treatment, right? Because all they do is they research, they study, they practice treating cancers. And so that's of value to me. If me or my loved ones have cancer, I am willing to pay more to go to the specialist who has dedicated their life to studying what's afflicting me, right? Same with law. If I need the best divorce attorney possible, I'm going to pay more money to hire someone who only does divorce law. Same in brokerage. If I need a commercial industrial building, I'm going to want to work with someone who specializes in just that. And if you're trying to do residential and commercial, you're trying to build a big field of knowledge about a lot of different things. And so it's going to take you longer to gain all that knowledge, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But if you're focused just on commercial, you're going to get the commercial knowledge faster, which means you'll be able to add more value, make more money.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Hi, Lindsay. Is it possible? Actually, I just wanted to ask, is it possible that I could connect with you on LinkedIn or have some sort of contact information where I could schedule a time to talk if you'd be willing?
Yeah, please do. Please connect with me on LinkedIn. I will put here in the chat box, I'll give you my email address.
Great.
And then I'm also going to give you my cell phone. So you can text me. So please reach out to me, and please don't be hurt if I don't respond to you right away, only because our industry is so busy right now that I'm prioritizing my clients, and I'm bad about getting back to them because I'm just so busy. But you are the future of our industry, and you are important. So yes, please reach out to me, connect with me, bug me if I don't respond to you, like bug me again, and I will try and answer all your questions. Okay.
Sounds good. I will reach out to you sometime. Thank you so much.
Please do.
All
Please
right.
do.
Thank you so much, Lindsay, for coming today. Unfortunately, I know everyone has so many questions, and we had a huge turnout today, but we do want to respect Lindsay's time. As she said, she is, she's a power broker. She's busy. Let's let her get her back to her work and stuff. So if you guys have any questions, we will send out Lindsay's email. She has her LinkedIn. We can also send that out to everyone in our Slack. And yeah, thank you once again, Lindsay, for joining us. We really appreciate you coming over.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I wish you all the best. I'm glad to come on again anytime to help answer more questions. But yes, reach out to me, and good luck to you all. Have a great second semester.
Thank you. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Bye.